Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
To our new passengers, aloha and welcome aboard.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for a very special edition of ResortLoop.com. I'm Tim Scott. We are Bob Collarless today. He's on a research trip. He's actually down at Disney. He has been taken into security land. Apparently he was gobbling like crazy outside a turkey leg stand for a free turkey leg and was not given to him. He's been removed, forcibly removed from the park, but in his place, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Dawn Scott. And today, hello. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here.
She made the big trip down to our basement. Today we are going to discuss our New England cruise on 2012 of last year.
Yes, we are.
This is very exciting. Let's get started with the trip from the house to New York City. Dawn, why don't you go ahead and tell us? The flight was perfect.
The flight was perfect. Getting to the flight was a little harried.
That's right. Yours truly forgot the luggage tags.
Yes, you did. But
and that was part of the problem, but we got past that pretty quickly.
But the van didn't start.
That's right. I forgot all about that.
That's why we almost didn't make it to the airport. The van didn't start.
I was so worried about the van trip in New York City. I forgot. Okay, so that morning, we had the van all loaded, ready to go. We all get in the van. I start it. Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Not even a click, I don't think it made.
No. So you threw the battery charger on it just in case.
Yes.
It might have been the battery. And then I sent you to McDonald's to get breakfast because we wouldn't have time to stop.
Right.
And thankfully, by the time you got back, the van started.
It did. It started up. Otherwise, we're going to have to cram the four of us and all the luggage into a little Saturn Ion, hopefully, and make it up to the airport in time.
Yeah. We got there and were able to check in pretty quickly, thankfully. And as we were heading toward the gate, we heard last call for passengers, and there was like 3 people's last names, ours being one of them being called.
That's right.
So we had to sprint to the gate. But we made it.
We did.
And our seats were there.
I blocked that whole part. But here's the amazing thing. I'll just jump right to the end of the trip. So the battery was dead, but we get back to the airport, and the van started right up.
Go figure.
After, 5 days? Mm-hmm. That was amazing. Anyway, so we land in LaGuardia. Issue free.
No problems.
No problem. And we were told we would have to wait how long for the...
They said, the Disney transportation didn't start running until around 9 o'clock, and we were in LaGuardia by like 8. Our flight was really early.
We had plenty of time to kill.
So we stopped and got some bagels or something to eat with the kids, and then we were sitting there, and the Disney person, I think she walked by us, and I didn't realize who she was. I saw the Disney outfit, but I didn't think she was there for us because we were told we would be met sometime around 9-10 o'clock for our transportation. So she came. Finally, I asked if she was looking for us, and the reason she didn't spot us right away is because we didn't have the luggage tags on the luggage, which were sitting in the drawer at home.
Ouch.
So, but she was super, super nice and was able to get luggage tags for us and write our stateroom number on them, and then loaded us into a van that was clearly not Disney owned.
No.
But they were contracted by Disney to transport people. So we get into this probably 12 or 15 passenger van. It was very, very large.
Full-size Ford van.
It was just our family, and there were 2 working seatbelts in the entire van. And so we got in, and we're kind of looking at each other. We put the kids in the seatbelts.
That's right.
Tim and I are hanging on for dear life.
Literally.
And honest to Pete, I didn't think we were going to make it to the port. It was the scariest ride I'd have ever had in my entire life.
Now, I have heard New York traffic, and the drivers were
what we'd
exciting. And thrilling, and you'd be lucky to make it there alive, which was the absolute case.
I couldn't believe it. And I worried the whole rest of the trip getting back to the airport. I'm thinking, dear Lord, we're not going to make it home. It was fun, in New York, like when we were at the traffic lights. I didn't mind when we were stopped because you could look at all the beautiful buildings and some of the places that you've seen on TV. Like our son is really into the TV show How I Met Your Mother, and we passed their bar, How I Met Your Mother bar. That was pretty exciting. And Kleinfeld's, and some other really, recognizable stores. And while we were stopped, it was really fun to look for those buildings and see them. But while we were moving, I think there were several times we had to have missed a car by mere inches. And I don't think it was the other drivers. I think it was our driver.
I was clenched onto that car seat like I've never been clenched onto a car seat before.
Oh my gosh. I kept looking at the kids thinking, don't show the fear on your face. Don't get the kids upset. But it was the scariest ride of our entire lives. And we thought that was normal. We thought that was New York normal.
He put that van in holes. I didn't think I could get my little Saturn in.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, he's not going to make it.
And he did. We got there alive, a little stressed out, blood pressure a little high. But we got to the port okay then.
Yes. Once we got to the port, we got our luggage off. We kissed the ground.
Literally.
Oh. And then we made our way into the
waiting area.
Which, they had your standard Disney sign, your people with name tags. Mm-hmm. It didn't look very Disney just because it was actually like a big warehouse. It wasn't, built by Disney. It's just the New York Port Authority building. Mm-hmm. But it was very nice, and they told us where to wait, and we started waiting there, and we were still one of the first ones there.
We were. We had to wait quite a while before they started moving us through security and then back to the holding area that was Disney. It did look a little bit more Disney. They had some decorations up, and that was fun. And Mickey and Minnie came out, and Mickey and his Uncle Sam outfit and Minnie in her Statue of Liberty outfit. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To see them. But we had a pretty early boarding number. I think we're boarding I don't know what it was, 9 maybe even earlier. I can't remember for sure. It was pretty early. We were on the ship fairly quickly after they started calling boarding numbers.
Yes.
So, and then went to the standard buffet and all the other good stuff.
I will say, it was a little weird for me seeing all the passionate Disney fans somewhere besides a park.
Oh.
Even in Alaska, for some reason, it didn't not bother me, but I didn't notice it as much as I did in New York. Mm-hmm. There were people in special hats and special shirts. And
oh, yeah. The family that had the special hats and the special shirts on who decided that they did not need to wait in line. Our kids were next to have their picture. I don't remember if it was Mickey or Minnie. And there was clearly a very long line for that on the left-hand side. And they came in from the right.
Oh,
and
yes.
as soon as the one family left, our kids were next, and the next family hopped in. And the cast member was very nice. He said, oh, the line is back there. And they said, well, we're Platinum Club members. And they hopped in line, and there they were.
I guess that's all you need.
Apparently. So, and the cast member kind of looked at us, and we're like, just go ahead. We're not going to ruin our trip over some people who think they're more entitled than others, but whatever. And then, of course, the people that we kept bumping into. He's the guy, though, that we ran into at the buffet that he totally grossed me out.
Yes, tell. Do tell.
Oh, it was gross. He served himself at the buffet from the serving spoon, put the food on his plate, then using his fingers picked up, I forget, I think it was a piece of fruit, put it in his mouth, licked his fingers, and then touched the next spoon.
Ew.
And I was like, I'm out of here. We are now done eating at the buffets. I did tell a cast member that they needed to change out that spoon because that was really gross.
Right.
And they did. They were very, very nice. They changed out the several spoons on that side. Thankfully, we were on the other side of the buffet.
Right.
So
was that parakeet?
Yes.
Yes.
That was really gross.
Ugh.
But you're going to have all kinds. Just because it's a Disney cruise doesn't automatically mean the guests come with manners and etiquette, I guess.
That's true. Although more so than Carnival.
Absolutely. Sailing out of New York was a very, very different experience.
That was amazing. I expected it to be spectacular.
It was beyond spectacular.
It was.
And that was probably one of my most favorite parts of the cruise was sailing out of New York. We sailed past, we were docked right next to the Intrepid.
That was really cool.
And that was pretty cool. And then we sailed past the Statue of Liberty and then under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when I first realized I'm getting seasick.
The first day at sea was not good for Mrs. Scott.
Oh, my goodness. I've never been seasick before, except for one night on a Royal Caribbean cruise. And that was, I think everybody was seasick because the seas were so rough. You couldn't even walk in the hallway without being tossed side to side that night. But we were told, to look backwards as you go under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge because it's such a cool experience. And we did. And I think that might have been my downfall.
That triggered it. Yep.
I think it triggered the seasickness. So,
before that, it was really cool because you had New York City on the left side as we were sailing and the Statue of Liberty on the right. And there were spaced just far enough you could see some of both. So I thought that was very nice.
It was. It was awesome to see, the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building and the new Freedom Tower.
That was amazing. We'll put all these pictures on the Facebook page, by the way.
It was amazing to do that. And then we got out to open seas and we went to our stateroom, which was ready by then. And well, it had been ready before then because we had unpacked. But we were trying to get ready for dinner and I couldn't do it. I kept trying to get ready and I'm like, I need to lay back down. So I did not make it to dinner that night.
And you always want to make it to dinner the first night because you want to meet your...
the table mates.
The table mates and your waiters because you're going to have them all throughout the cruise. And our table mates were very nice people.
We had wonderful people. They were originally from Brazil, but they had immigrated to Canada 5 years earlier and spoke fairly good English.
Yeah, very good.
The younger one had a little bit of trouble still, but they did, fairly well. And our son is quite outgoing. And their son, who was the same age as our oldest, they said was very, very shy. And at the end of the cruise, they remarked that they were pleased that our son had included theirs in so many activities that a lot of the teens were doing. Like they met for a buffet breakfast one time. They met up on sports deck one time. And he always included their son. And they were very grateful that our son did that because they said that he never would have gone on his own. And I'm not sure our son gave him a choice. He just said, hey, we're meeting here at this time and whatever.
That's right. You want to be there.
Yeah. And the boys showed up, which was really cool.
Yep.
So.
And we saw them roaming the deck. Was it pirate night? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yeah, he made a nice little friend in him for the cruise. And that was pretty neat.
Yeah. And the way kids are nowadays, he even met, he's still Facebook friends with a bunch of friends he met on our Alaska cruise the year before.
He is. Yeah, and they just, they chat. He texts with a couple of them, too, still. That the most important thing to do, though, on the very first night, if you have a child that's going to be in Edge or in Vibe, that very first night they have a meet and greet and a plan your cruise, and it's so important that your child go to that. Even if it's late at night, and usually doesn't start till maybe around 10 after the second dinner seating. Even if you're tired... allow your child to go because your child won't be tired, not the way you are. Because that's the night that they start making friends and they buddy up with who they're going to be with for that cruise. So many times you read on some other discussion boards, my child didn't like Vibe or my child didn't like Edge. And then you read through the post and you find out their child didn't go to the very first night, plan your cruise and meet and greet. And it's hard for a teen or a tween to join in once kids have already kind of paired up. They feel awkward about it. So make sure that your child goes that very first night because ours always have.
Yep.
But speaking of Edge, this was our first time to allow our daughter in Edge.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was a different experience. We weren't actually planning on that.
No, it made it a little more stressful, but not too bad.
She was 11. And the Secured Oceaneers Club, they allow up to age 12. And we just assumed that that's where she would go because she had loved it so much the year before on the Alaska cruise when she was 10. And she checked it out and she's like, I'm not staying here. This is too young for me. So we went and checked out the Edge area and we were very concerned because for us, our child being 11 years old, I think they're just too young to be allowed that much freedom.
Right.
Because even though it's a ship and it's Disney, it's still not 100% safe.
Right.
And so you have to make sure. So we hadn't really not laid down any ground rules for her because we didn't anticipate needing them.
Yeah, this was totally unexpected on the fly. We had to adjust our vacation plans, or at least what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah. And I think the only reason that it worked so well is number one, because of the wave phones where we can text her and she can text us. And we chose an ocean view room on deck 2, which was right around the corner from Edge. So because there's no restrooms in Edge. So she needed to go back to our own cabin for the restroom, or if she just wanted a break, and she was able to text us and we were able to go down, meet her there, make sure she was safe. We did allow her to go with a couple friends to get some ice cream, and then they had to go right back to Edge. She did want to go swimming, although it was a little chilly for that, but she and some friends went swimming, and that was fine, but we were right there. So overall, it worked out really, really well.
It did. It was just something we weren't expecting, but we adapted, and she followed the rules. So that
she did. So we were really blessed, that she didn't try to pull anything, and she met really nice girls that were her same age, that were 11, 12 years old. So that was a good thing, that she wasn't hanging out with kids that were, in the 13 going on 14 range. So that's good. So tell us about our first stop.
Well, our first stop on this cruise, now this is a 5-day cruise. So our first stop was in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which it was a beautiful area, but apparently nothing good happens in Halifax.
No.
There's not to say they're proud, but everyone tells you about the Halifax explosion was just horrendous.
They are, but they're so proud of it. Like,
they are.
That it happened in Halifax. But I am the kind of person, I'm a teacher, so I really enjoy the excursions that are information about an area, more so than like zip lining or something like those lines. I really enjoy history. And so, of course, in Halifax, there was no doubt in our minds that we were going to do the Halifax City Tour along with the Titanic gravesite, and it included Peggy's Cove. So the guide we had on the tour bus was very good, very full of information.
Yes, she was. But they told us about the Halifax explosion. It was just horrendous. I don't know if we want to go into that here, but basically 2 ships collided. They didn't like the water, and people died and went blind and a whole bunch of things. So we learned about that, and then we go to this Titanic gravesite, which, who doesn't know about?
Well, and they also said that there were some survivors of the Titanic that settled then in Halifax and stayed there and lived there, and then had to survive the explosion of Halifax a couple years later.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh my goodness, I think if I was that person, I'd find a cave.
Those poor people, you need to move inland.
Oh my goodness.
So then later in the day, we ended up going to Peggy's Cove.
Yes.
Which I didn't know exactly what to expect, but it was gorgeous.
It was amazing. It's a lighthouse that is built on top of a granite shoreway. And the granite there is just amazing.
It's expansive, and there's signs saying, danger, sudden waves, it's a drowning hazard, and keep off the black rocks.
Yeah, they have rogue waves that come up and all of a sudden just sweep people out.
Yes.
And they say if you are swept out at Peggy's Cove, the current is so strong, there's hardly any way to rescue you. You're gone.
Because the waves are just going to bounce you back into the granite. And it's not a good. But fortunately, there were no rogue waves.
Thankfully, because our daughter decided, wouldn't it be fun to walk on the black granite?
She's walking on the granite. She's like skipping from rock to rock. I'm like, no, you can't be doing that. She's like, why? I'm like, come here. Oh,
so
she drives us nuts. She's so smart, but
yeah, we love her so much, but honestly, sometimes I think, how are we going to survive her childhood? The stuff that she comes up with to do, but I just don't think she really realized until we really pointed it out to her.
Right.
But I did not walk down to the lighthouse with you because I had started the day before, was an at-sea day, and I was just recovering from feeling so seasick. It lasted less than 24 hours, and I started to feel better. And then, for whatever reason, they were varnishing railings.
On the ship, yes.
On the ship, and the smell from the varnishing just filled our cabin and gave me a migraine. So I had a migraine this whole day. And by the time we got to Peggy's Cove, I was done. So I sat on a nice little bench and enjoyed the scenery, enjoyed the beautiful granite, the beautiful lighthouse. And I could see the kids, and they were having a really good time.
And they had little shops there. They had some nice stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a place that had ice cream.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. And then the ride back into town, the guide gave us some more information about Halifax and some other interesting things.
So on the way back from Peggy's Cove, then, we find out that it was the, just offshore from there was where the Swiss Air Flight 111 had crashed back in, the late 90s?
Yeah.
And there's a memorial there. So, we had the Halifax explosion, we had the Titanic disaster, we had the Swiss Air Flight. And while it's beautiful in Halifax, I'm not sure I'd want to go back.
No. Oh, no. And plus, it was chilly. It was cold. This, New England cruise, even though it was August, it was
chilly.
It was chilly. Like, you definitely needed a jacket. It was nice in capris and short sleeves when the sun was out, but the sun there was clouds that came and made it a little chillier, got a little windier later in the day. But and it was kind of misty, rainy when we were at the Titanic gravesite at Fairview Cemetery, I believe it's called. Mm-hmm. So, we needed rain ponchos for sure.
So from Halifax, we left, had just that night at sea, and the next day we ended up in St. John, which was again, it was beautiful there.
Yes, beautiful day. We had a really, really nice day there.
And then our big trip, first we went on foot. We heard about this candy shop. Was it like a retro old time?
Yes, called the Freak Lunchbox.
That's right. So we decided, we got off the ship, we walked.
And walked.
And walked.
And walked.
The deluge.
They're like, oh, it's really close. It's just kind of right up there. It wasn't kind of right up there. It was way up there.
It was way up there. But we made it, and what did we end up buying? We bought a few things.
Oh, yeah, we bought some gag stuff for my brother.
Oh, yeah, we can't talk about that here.
No.
Keeping our family-friendly rating. But it was very cute. And they had lots of the standard old-time candy that, you can probably find other places. But it was just all there in a nice little shop. And
yeah, the 11-year-old went nuts.
Oh.
She's a sugar freak. Our older son, he's not so much. He'd rather have a steak than candy any day. But, yeah, she went crazy and got some goodies for the return trip home. But that shore excursion, oh, what a disaster.
So this shore excursion, we decided we would do the, what's it called, maple sugaring?
Yes.
We were going to go see how maple syrup's made.
Yes.
Or
so we thought.
Yeah.
We understand. It was August. We understand that maple syrup, the sap from the trees, is collected in the spring.
Yes.
We assumed, erroneously,
our fault,
that they would have held some of the sap back. We don't know a lot about it. I'm not sure if they store it, whatever, and then they would show us how it was actually made. But that is not what this tour was.
No. So we get on the bus, and we're heading out to the maple sugaring. And, on the way there was these very unique, what were these boats called? The ferry boats?
Oh, I don't remember. But it was really, really cool. And cable ferries, I think, because they're pulled on cables, and there's like none anywhere anymore. This is
like one of the few places in the world they even have these. So our son, who slept right through it, or maybe we tried to wake him up.
We woke him up on the way back.
Yeah. So he's out in the bus, because he's staying up late every night at Edge or Vibe, and he's doing his teenage thing.
Yeah.
So we're on the bus. We get on this little boat. They just line up some cars and they pull you right across, which is very cool because I didn't expect it to be as neat as it was. Mm-hmm. And then we head up the hills through the country to this maple sugaring farm. And the guy was very nice.
Oh, he was very, very nice. And he was very excited about his tour and what he does.
Oh, he was very proud.
Very, very proud.
There's no doubt about that. And then for some reason, at least to me, maybe it was because we had our jackets with us, all of a sudden the sun popped out and the temperature shot way up.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if this was did they mark this one as a moderate activity walking wise?
No, it was mild.
Mild. I'd say moderate.
It was straight uphill.
It was up a hill. It wasn't like you were on a path. You're actually on the ground, and it was kind of, some divots and things. You had to kind of watch where you were going.
It was. And not only that, but you stopped on the hill, so you kind of had to, it was a steep hill, so you kind of had to balance,
yes,
on this steep hill. And he stopped every couple feet and told us the history of maple sugar. Mm-hmm. And so how the Indians used to make it, how the pioneers made it, and up to the present day.
It was very interesting. And so we're building up. We're thinking, this is great. We're going to see how this is going to go.
Absolutely.
So we're going up the hill.
And we get to his shed, it was small.
It was very small, but he said, we can all get in here if we just everyone just steps in tight.
Yeah, I stepped in, then stepped out pretty quickly because I have some claustrophobia issues, and there's no way I could have stayed in there, not for one more second.
Because people were crowding in there. I remember we were in a cabin without a balcony.
Yeah.
So you can imagine
and we
how
thought
small
this was
this
small.
was.
Oh my.
And that we walk in, it's one of these things. If we were doing it, this is what you would see. If we were going to do it, this is how we would do it.
And we were very, very disappointed in that.
It was kind of anticlimactic at that point.
It was. But then they came back down. We walked back down the hill.
Which was a little easier.
And apparently, even though they can't save sap from the spring, they do save the snow. Because they brought snow out and put it in this little trough. Mm-hmm. And then he brought maple syrup out and made maple syrup candy in the snow with the kids, which our daughter really enjoyed. And,
yes,
she enjoyed. That was fun. Then we were invited to go inside their little place there, and you were given 2 pancakes and a sausage.
Yes.
To try their maple syrup, mm-hmm. which would have been all well and good.
And then,
except someone from the previous tour.
We think it was for someone from Carnival. We're just going to throw that out there.
Unbeknownst to me, and apparently either they didn't know and didn't clean it up, the seat that I sat in, someone had spilled quite a bit of maple syrup, and I sat in it.
It was sticky.
It was very sticky. So I went into the restroom and tried to clean up as best I could, but I was sticky and uncomfortable the rest of the time. And bless our little teenage son, he comes out, he's like, "Are you okay?" And I didn't want to upset the kids. And I told him what had happened. And I said, he's like, "Are you going to come in and eat?" I'm like, "No, it's fine." He goes, "Well, that's good, because on top of everything else, the maple syrup wasn't even good." So that was kind of our bust of a trip.
Yeah. Hey, but you did have the opportunity to buy the syrup.
Which we did not. Because if our teenage son, who is a maple syrup connoisseur, didn't like it, it had to have been pretty bad.
Yeah, he likes the genuine
Vermont.
genuine maple syrup, but I don't know why.
He said it wasn't good. I don't know. I never did try it. I was just trying to get my capris clean and dried from where I'd sat in their syrup. But, oh well.
Yeah. So then after our pancakes and sausage and stickiness, went back to the ship. We did our ferry boat across again, and
I think it was like a cable ferry is why it made it really unique. It was the cable ferry, so it was pretty cool. But it was really, pretty neat. And they try to entertain you while you're on the bus, and they pass pictures around. On the way back, the guide also showed us how to make a moose call.
Oh, right.
And that was, as a teacher who does a life cycles and habitats unit, that was really neat for me to see how they had done that. And they passed out directions. So that was pretty neat too, on how to make your own. So
our daughter had a riot with it.
Yeah, she did. She, I don't think, wanted to pass it along for someone else to have a turn, because they did let you try it out. So, and then our last day was a day at sea, which was very, very fun.
Yeah. Oh, I got to say, before we move on, I didn't have one of these, but apparently the McDonald's up there have what they call the McLobster sandwich.
Oh, yeah. We saw a lot of signs for those.
We kept seeing signs, but no, for some reason they didn't stop. That would have been a good shore excursion, I would think, the McLobster.
I would think.
But,
Or at least give it the chance to hop off and try the McLobster. So, and was that the place where we were, and we went to get back on the ship, and one of the gangplanks was not working? So instead of having a nice little gentle slope up, it was like straight up steep.
Oh, that might have been, yes.
That was, I was like, oh my goodness. And then to check everybody back in, you kept stopping. And, I was concerned because there was a lady in a wheelchair ahead of us. And I thought, oh my goodness, that poor woman, if the guy who's pushing her loses his footing, there's going to be some trouble.
Yes.
But we made it on safely. Everybody got back on okay.
That's right. Because we were training and walking uphill with the maple sugaring shore excursion.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad.
So what was one of the most fun things that we did on that cruise that you enjoyed?
You know what? That was our first time that we got to see the fireworks at sea.
Yes.
Because the last time in Alaska, they don't do that because of the wildlife.
You're right. So we had our first pirates party.
That was very cool. I didn't know what to expect. Mm-mm. Apparently, I missed out on the turkey legs, though.
Yeah.
We had just had dinner just before that, so it wasn't on my radar. I found out about that kind of later.
And our son made it on the Jumbotron. Or what do they don't call it Jumbotron. What do they call it?
Oh.
Their great big movie screen at sea. I don't know. But we saw our son, so we knew he was there having a good time with his friends.
He was having a great time.
Yeah.
And then the Mickey did his thing across the pool area. What was your favorite thing on this cruise?
I think I had two favorite things. One was we played trivia for the first time.
Yes.
And we won.
We won by half a point, thanks to my lovely wife.
We did. That was really exciting. We tied with another couple, and so they put out 3 bonus questions. And one of them was, what were the name of Cruella de Vil's sidekicks?
Yes.
In 101 Dalmatians. And I could only think of one.
And I didn't know any.
And the other team didn't know any. And we each got one other question correct of the 3. And so by a half a point, we won.
Woohoo! And
Disney gives out really nice prizes.
They do, as opposed to Royal Caribbean, which we can say because we were on there and they referred to it themselves on this.
They do. The Royal Caribbean cast members refer to it as the Royal Caribbean Crap Collection. So Disney does not have that. Disney gave out really nice silver keychains with the Disney logo inscribed on them. Mm-hmm. They're very, very nice, like heavy, nice keychains, which I have to this date. And so does our daughter. Our daughter took one too. They gave us 4.
I know, that was great.
Yeah.
And what was your second favorite thing on this cruise?
I really, really enjoy walking deck 4.
Oh, that is true.
Because you can go all the way around the ship. There They have a track. Some people jog, some people walk. It's just a very nice leisurely stroll. I love listening to the ocean when we do that. Sometimes we stop. They have lounge chairs along the way to stop and just sit and talk. And, the kids are having fun with their friends. And you and I get to spend some couple time together. And I thought that was really one of my most favorite things we did.
I agree, because I like going up into the front also. You can see where they have the anchor. Or
Which is huge.
Awesome. And then they have the big, what do you call it, ropes, cables, whatever ties to it. There's like an emergency jet ski they tether up in there, which I would think is kind of cool. It's like something from Baywatch.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, sitting on the chairs, we do that. You have to take the standard picture of your feet hanging off the lounge chair.
Oh, yeah.
And you're right. That was one of my favorites. I forgot all about that.
Yep.
And I think we need to suggest to everybody who has not maybe either gone on a cruise yet or have done it but have not been taking part of like a fish extender exchange, how fun that is.
That is very fun.
You want to explain to anybody who doesn't know what a fish extender is?
I will. A fish extender, if you look outside your stateroom door, on the Magic and Wonder, at least, I heard that there's maybe a different thing on the Fantasy, but I'm
something
not sure.
similar, but it's not a fish. I forget what that is.
Anyway,
we'll report on that after our cruise this summer.
We will. People take and they make these fish extenders, which extends off the fish, so it's called a fish extender. Little pocket-like things. Ours has 3 pockets in it. Some people just hang a bag. It started out as like a Secret Santa gift exchange. One year on a transatlantic crossing, a group of people got together and thought it would be fun to exchange little gifts since it was a Christmas sailing. And it kind of developed from there. So if you look on a message board, you can find a lot of meet and greets. And sometimes within that meet and greet, they have a fish extender exchange where you sign up for yourself and your family. And then during the cruise at some point in time, before you cruise, you have to make a gift that you plan to give to the others. And sometimes it's just one gift per stateroom. Sometimes they do one gift per person. Usually the rules are set up within each fish extender exchange group. They make their own rules how they're going to do it. The 2 that we have participated in, they left the rules pretty open, whatever you wanted to do. And so some families gave one gift per stateroom. Some families gave one gift per person. We tried to do a gift for the adults in the room, and then we try to do a separate gift for each of the kids in the room is how we did ours. But during the cruise, then sometime you will take your gifts and you will have everybody's stateroom number, and you will deliver their gifts to their fish extender. And sometimes people will have the kids' names or their names on the pockets, and you can put the gifts in there. Or sometimes they'll just have like a nice Disney bag, and you just put everything in there. And it's so much fun because when you come back to your own stateroom and see your fish extender filled with nice little treats, it's really exciting.
And it just doesn't happen once. Like you'll just come back from like lunch, breakfast, and someone will sneak a little something in your fish extender, and it's just it's very Disney-esque.
It's so neat. I mean, some of the really neat things that people have given on our last cruise. Someone made a really cool Christmas ornament, in the shape of Mickey head out of styrofoam. That was really cool. One family made awesome magnets that they put on our door before the cruise even began, which was really awesome because we'd never had magnets on our door before.
That's right, with the Statue of Liberty crown on there.
That was cool. Probably the gift that I use most often is someone had taken like a little cozy for cans and had bedazzled it into the shape of a Mickey head. And I took that to school with me, and I put my can of Coke in that every day. And I think about our cruise, and brings back lots of happy memories. But it's just people give all kinds of really cool things. And a lot of times they'll give candy or food from their area.
We got a Vinylmation from somebody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and on our Alaska cruise, a family, oh my goodness, they had taken so much time. They had done a pre-made scrapbook.
Oh, right.
For pictures. So all you had to do was develop your pictures and then
slide them
on in.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And I want to know the people who on our last cruise, well, I'll post a picture. We lay our fish extender out in our bed and take a picture after every cruise. Gave Disney dollars.
Yeah.
How nice is that?
That was way cool.
I mean, cash is always acceptable, but the Disney dollars was very nice.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, we just got someday they'll do. Our teenager got lots of candy for like the movie theater to take with him to go see the movies, and just a lot of really, really cool stuff.
You could tell a lot of people put a lot of thought into what their fish extender gifts are going to be.
Absolutely, we do, and we hope that people will appreciate it. But they don't put a dollar amount on it. You have to spend this much or that much, and
a lot of it's homemade stuff.
It's fantastic. I love the homemade stuff.
What I liked is I believe it was on our Alaska cruise. Maybe it was this cruise where they gave us 2 CDs they had made with their own Disney music.
I think that was the Alaska cruise.
Was it? Mm-hmm. I have one of those in my car, and I just whenever nothing else is on, I'll listen to that. I thought that was really thoughtful.
It was. They just people come up with such amazing things, and we're amazed every time. You know, when we look at this, like, oh my goodness, you know how awesome that is. So we're absolutely participating in a fish extender again for our Caribbean cruise, and right now I believe we did end up closing our group because we had 27 cabins, and some people thought that was getting a little bit large, and I kind of agree with that because you want to make sure you have quality gifts for your fellow cruisers.
Yeah, and if you're flying, you have to figure that into your luggage. So
yes.
But we'll be driving. That won't be an issue for us this year.
No. We need to get on that.
Yeah, we do.
We have our idea, but we're not sure if we're able to get all the materials for it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope.
And then I'll just say, because I didn't do this in Alaska, and I didn't do it till the last night of the New England cruise, I stumbled across this Cove Cafe. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, I wish I had found that before on the cruise, because it's the last day of the cruise. I go in there, I get my, I think it was a mocha. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic. And then they give me a frequent drink card. Had I known about that earlier, I could have like 3 or 4 punches and get my free drink.
Yeah.
There was no way I was going to have 4 mochas again.
Not that
last night of the cruise. But try out the Cove Cafe on any of these ships. Apparently, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So then we get back, and we get back into New York, and we had to get home.
Yes.
And our flight out of LaGuardia was before the Disney recommended time for a flight home. And our other option wasn't until later in the afternoon, so we thought we would just try to get the earlier flight and arrange our own private transportation.
Try to get out.
Yeah, try to get out. We decided to walk our own luggage off the ship, which I think I will do absolutely from now on, because it was so much better than trying to hurry up and pack the night before and stick our luggage out there. You know, with 4 of us who can each take a suitcase, it made more sense for us.
Right, they all roll, so...
Yeah, if you have small children, probably wouldn't work for you unless you only had 2 suitcases, but then even then you have to hold on to somebody's hand, so it works for us. But we walked our own luggage off the ship, turned on our cell phones, and the driver that was picking us up had already called us twice.
Yes.
To say he was there, he was ready to pick us up, and he was like a half an hour early.
He was.
So Tim talked to him and found out where he was, told him where we were, and he pulled his van around, which was a nice Odyssey.
Yes.
And
he even told us like what pylon, like all the pylons out in front of the port building there are all numbered. He told us, meet me between this port, this number and that number, and he pulled right up.
It was perfect. So he pulled up. I don't know if we're allowed to say the company name that we used.
Go ahead. They're not paying us. We're just
all right. Well, we used Dial 7, and the driver was fantastic. And he pulled up. He helped us load our luggage in. All of his seatbelts worked, which was a big bonus for us. And he pulled away. And we're driving along. We get to...
No tire squealing when he pulled out. I'll just throw that out there.
And we're like 2, 3, 4 blocks away. And I'm thinking, this is so much better. He's so much more calm.
Yes.
So we kept going and going. I'm like, oh my goodness. He was a fantastic driver. Not one time did I fear for my life while in this guy's van. And I was so grateful and so thankful that we made it there without a problem.
That was a little bit of anxiety, I know, getting off the ship. Like, how was it going to be getting back to the airport?
Yeah, we didn't know. Would the driver really show up? Of course, we read reviews from all different kinds of companies, and they all basically have the same review. We just ended up going with a company that had a great rate, and we got very, very lucky. And maybe that's their standard service. I don't know. But we were very pleased with their service. So we get to the airport. It took us a little while to find the right line that we needed to be in.
Yeah, that was really crowded being early morning. Everyone's trying to get out of New York, I guess, at the same kind of time. But
yeah, because was it a Friday morning?
I think so, yes.
So it was pretty crowded. But we finally made it to our gate with plenty of time to spare. Made it home, no problems.
Nope.
The van started right up.
The van started right up after barely making out of the driveway that morning.
So that was good.
It was a good trip. How would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, this cruise?
Well, being seasick and our poor stateroom attendant, she was wonderful. And we'll have to do a podcast about our attendants that we've had, I think.
Mm-hmm. And waiters.
Yeah, that would be a good one. She said that a lot of people had experienced seasickness in the first day of that cruise because of having shallower water. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. She said, once we hit deeper water, you'll be fine. And she was so nice. She said, can I get you some ginger ale? Can I get you some crackers? I mean, she was so sweet. Really appreciated her. But she was right. The next day, I felt much, much better. But I won't ever cruise without bonding again, just in case.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case.
Yep.
But I would say, other than that, on a scale of 1 to 10, the weather was a little iffy in the one port. And given, like I said, we'll have to do a podcast about our servers and whatnot. I'd probably only give it maybe a 6 or a 7.
I was thinking the same thing. 5, 6, 7, kind of depends. I had some server issues we won't go about here. Mm-hmm. And the excursions I didn't think were nearly as interesting as they were in Alaska. Mm-hmm. And the scenery, I mean... It's
beautiful. It is, but not as beautiful as Alaska.
Right. Alaska, for me, was a 10.
Oh, Alaska was beyond a 10.
So New England, I mean, the cruise was shorter. To be fair, I'd probably go with a 6.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So I noticed they didn't rebook New York for this summer, so they might not have gotten a lot of positive feedback about it.
That's true.
I don't know.
Now, we had toyed about... Just going back to the beginning of the cruise, between the 9-day, where we would have left out in New York, had a 1 day.
It was an 8-day.
Was it an 8-day? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I was thinking of Royal Caribbean. An 8-day, but you would have one stop at Port Canaveral with a day at Disney.
Yeah.
But we had some issues.
Timing issues.
Yeah. We didn't think it'd be the best for us. So we went... I'm
glad we did something different.
Me too.
You know, I always think that... in this life, if you can do different things, it's great to do the same thing. It's great to go to Disney. It's great to do those type of things if that's something you truly enjoy. But I also think it's sometimes nice to step outside the box, try something you've never tried before, because you won't know if you like it until you try it.
That's true. I think my main concern was just 2 cold weather cruises
back to back.
I'm not a cold weather person. Now, Alaska was I'd do that again in a heartbeat.
I would do Alaska again in a heartbeat.
One and done, I think, for us for New England cruise.
Yeah.
At least for those ports.
Yeah,
not that they weren't lovely, but we've seen them.
They were, and the guides were fabulous on the cruises. And we did book our excursions through Disney Cruise Line, so we would always do that. That just works for us.
Right. So, and this summer we're going to do a Caribbean cruise because I need to see some palm trees.
That's right. Need a little warm weather there.
That's right. That will conclude this episode of ResortLoop.com. My lovely wife, Dawn, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun.
Anytime. Thanks for filling in for Bob Collar, who's hopefully on his way out of security land.
Let's hope.
Take care, everybody. You can find me on Twitter at ResortLoopTim. You can find us at our website, ResortLoop.com. You can follow Bob on Twitter at ResortLoopBob. So everyone, thanks for joining us. And as Bob would say, see everybody.